Understanding how dry lands can be made more productive for crop production, considering the imperative of climate change, is a very important step. The Africa Center of Excellence in Dryland Agriculture, also known as Center for Dryland Agriculture CDA, Bayero University, Kano, is doing excellently in pursuing its mandate of increasing the agricultural productivity of lands characterized by lack of fresh water and abundance of heat and sunlight, short rainy seasons, strong dry winds, poor soil structure, and overgrazing. Our focus on this episode is on how the CDA has been able to turn the prospects of dry lands for productive agriculture in Nigeria. But before then, we have cheering news from the ministry. I'm Gabriel Ojile, your regular guide. Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development holds Policy Validation Summit for new policy on agriculture. Also, Food and Agricultural Organization collaborates with Agric Ministry to manage aflatoxin content in food production. Details shortly. In an effort to make agriculture the mainstay of the nation's economy and ensure food security in the country, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development has embarked on drafting a national agricultural technology and innovation policy that will drive the agricultural sector between 2022 to 2025. To make the policy stakeholders-oriented, the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development recently organized a national stakeholders validation meeting on the draft National Agricultural Technology and Innovation Policy. The event, which held in Abuja, attracted critical stakeholders like farmers, lawmakers, directors, researchers, financial institutions, among others, to make their input on the policy. Speaking during the meeting, the Honorable Minister of State, Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, Mustafa Baba Shehuri, stated that the policy will enhance synergy between ministries, departments and agencies, knowledge creation and transfer, access to funds, among other things.
The draft National Agricultural Technology and Innovation Policy that is being validated today will enhance access to improved inputs and linkages among research and teaching institutions, improve on the level of agricultural mechanization, fast-track extension services delivery, create access to finances, and ensure the security of agricultural land and other investments that are agro-based.
Also speaking, Chairman House Committee on Agricultural Services, Honorable Muntari Dandutse Mohammed, stated that the draft policy will provide a model that will enhance coordination between the farmers and security agencies to secure the life and the investments of farmers. Honorable Dandutse added that without addressing the insecurity in the farms and marketing chain of agricultural sector, the policy will be a mirage. He called for synergy between security agencies and farmers.
Each and every formation of this country and states across the country has to work in a coordinated manner so that we fight this insecurity.
Similarly, the Chairman House Committee on Agricultural Colleges, Universities and Research Institutions, Honorable Munir Baba Danagudi, stated that the National Assembly would make laws that will ensure sustainability of the policy and prevent policy somersault by successive governments.
This policy, after bringing all stakeholders to contribute, then we also subject it to legislature to ask all manner of people to come and deliberate and contribute so that we do what is near perfect. You know, perfect is only assigned to God, but we can do what is humanly possible and ensure that it is impossible for someone to come one day and just close his eyes and say, I'm changing this policy because of one reason or the other.
The Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, in collaboration with the Food and Agricultural Organization, FAO, has commenced stakeholders' engagement to provide a technical support on aflatoxin management and mitigation in Nigeria. This is in a bid to make Nigeria food produce free of aflatoxin. Speaking during the inception workshop, the National Program Coordinator for Technical Support on Aflatoxin Management and Mitigation in Nigeria, Oyeleke Razak, stated that aflatoxin is a natural poison produced by some types of fungus found in soil and dead or decayed plants, which infects crops from flowering until maturity.
Aflatoxin is responsible for liver cancer cases all over the world. But when you look at the statistics, about 20% of the incidence of liver cancer worldwide, aflatoxin is responsible. And in Africa, we have 40% of liver cancer being attributed to aflatoxin contamination.
Also speaking during the event, the country representative of Food and Agricultural Organization, Fred Kaferu, who was represented by the Deputy Country Rep, Suleiman Abubakar, stated that in response to a request from the Agri Ministry, FAO has agreed to support the project with $300,000 to increase awareness and build local capacity to manage and mitigate aflatoxin in Nigeria to ensure safety food in the international market. He added that all hands must be on deck to ensure food safety.
Food safety is a shared responsibility between governments, producers, consumers, and many other stakeholders and partners. Everyone has a role to play from farm to table to ensure the food we consume is safe and healthy for a better tomorrow. Therefore, ensuring food safety is a public health priority and an essential step to achieving food security. This project therefore aims to contribute to Nigeria's effort for putting in place effective safety and quality control systems that are not only key in safeguarding health and well-being of people, but also fostering economic development and improving livelihoods by promoting access to domestic, regional and international food markets.
All what we did here is mechanized.
It's back to land, back to agriculture.
I can supply the milk factories for milk.
That's the new norm for employment and for wealth creation. Get your piece of the action.
Before farming, we will spread the manure.
There to take on agribusiness.
They have been working in terms of making sure they give us new breeds.
Seize the opportunity you have been waiting for. Watch Transforming Agriculture in Nigeria, showing every Friday at 8:30 p.m. on the NTA network service.
African Center of Excellence for Dryland Agriculture, Kano, is one of the centers established in Nigeria to help in developing capacity and manage dryland agriculture in Nigeria and some other countries in the African continent. In our next segment, Record of the FDA, we will focus on the mandates and achievements of the center in Nigeria and beyond. Sit back and watch.
The African Center of Excellence in Dryland Agriculture, also known as Center for Dryland Agriculture, Bayero University, Kano, was established in 2012 to address the issues of crops and livestock in the semi-arid and dry subhumid environments of Nigeria and the West and Central African sub-regions.
In 2011, there was a call to support establishment of centers in universities by the MacArthur Foundation. We applied for a seed grant to set up a center for dryland agriculture, and we got a grant of $800,000 to start the center. That was how we began. We set up our curricula and started the programs. Just about a year later, we saw another call from the World Bank seeking to establish regional centers of excellence. And their idea is that education, especially at the postgraduate level, is required if Africa is going to get out of its current development challenges. They thought, when you look around, there are so many graduates, there are so many unemployed people. At the same time, we bring expatriates in key positions. because our training does not address the real issues of development in the continent. And sending people to Europe or to America to study is very, very expensive. So the World Bank thought there should be specific centers that are focusing on specific issues of development in Africa, in which students from all over the continent will come to that center for that specific issue.
The Center for Dryland Agriculture supports degree trainings at the postgraduate level as well as short-term trainings to impart specific skills to specific target groups. The postgraduate program leads to the award of postgraduate diploma, master's, and Doctor of Philosophy degrees in 4 areas of dryland agriculture, namely natural resource management and climate change, crops and cropping systems, ranch and livestock management, and livelihoods and natural resources economics. Within the few years of existence of this center, it has achieved a lot to make dryland agriculture possible in Nigeria and other parts of the African continent.
We also do research mostly through our postgraduate students, but also in strategic partnership with donors and other international organizations. So through those things, we have done a number of things that are impacting on farmers.
The center also, through laboratory analysis, examines the quality and safety of food produced from the dry land.
We look into qualities of the food itself when brought from the farm or maybe when processed. Yeah. And also not even human feed, actually, the animal feed, we do look into them and assess the quality. Sometimes, animal feed are formulated in the lab to experiment on the animals. So when formulated, we look into the quality of that, and maybe after feeding, we extract the fecal samples and also test the quality so that we can see how the food is assimilated by the animal.
A guided tour of the African Center of Excellence in Dryland Agriculture, Kano, unveils a world-class, well-equipped center with tissue culture laboratories for the dual purposes of research and training.
This is the calorimeter. We use it to determine the calorific values of feed. Yes, and this is, it has so many components, as you can see. The bomb is here. That is why it is called calorimeter bomb. The bomb is here, where you put your sample inside, fill it with oxygen, and just put it in the meter, and then digitally it gives you, after combusting the samples, it now gives you directly the energy level or the energy content of the sample. Yes, yeah. And this is the apparatus that we use for determining fat content in a particular sample. This is where you put your samples. It operates from there. You put the thimbles here. These are the type of thimbles. This is where you put your feed inside. Put it there, and then you dispense the extraction solvent from here. You measure and you dispense into the various samples, and then you allow it to extract automatically. And then you remove it, dry it, and gravimetrically you can now measure the fat content in the feed.
Soil testing is paramount in dryland agriculture. In this laboratory of the Center for Dryland Agriculture, Kano, there is an array of equipment for soil sampling and testing, among other uses. A further tour to the Tissue Culture Laboratory of Africa Center for Dryland Agriculture shows how these technologists multiply the crops for planting.
Like this one is ready for going out. Then it undergoes into a procedure called hardening. In which we are going to remove it from this artificial environment and make it to adapt to physical environment before it is transferred to the field. Yes, the hardening facility is behind here. We have what we call the weather control screen house. Okay. We control the weather 100%. The weather is under control. If we want 100% humidity there, we can put it. If we want 50% here, there we can. So it's completely controlled. Okay. So we do the acclimatization. We call the process acclimatization under the weather control screen house. Yes. So from the weather control screen house, if it is well adapted, then it's ready to move to the field.
The whole essence of all the tests, research and findings at the Center for Dryland Agriculture is to ensure that man continues to have food regardless of the effects of climate change and the increase in population across the globe. Producing food on our drylands across the African continent requires collaboration among stakeholders. In this regard, the African Center for Dryland Agriculture, Kano, is not an island on its own. It rather partners with critical stakeholders to ensure that success is achieved in the development of agriculture in the African continent. In our next segment, Partnership for Development, we are focusing on the level of partnership between the center and others to make an impact in the dryland agriculture. Keep watching.
We'll try to avoid any chemical form of fertilizer or anything.
So from this place, what we learn here, that is what we take to our road.
I hope you are following the normal procedure of feeding. We'll be fascinated seeing things moving.
Agricultural transformation entails involvement of different stakeholders. African Center of Excellence in Dryland Agriculture in Kano State is partnering with relevant stakeholders locally and internationally to address issues with dryland agriculture.
We have so many partners, international partners, like many of the international agricultural research centers, the CG centers, such as IITA. We have strong partnership with them since the establishment of the center. ICRISAT is one of our very strong partners. CMIT, the International Center for Maize and Wheat Improvement, is a strong partner of this center. I mentioned CIP, International Potato Center. So many universities, Kansas State University, University of Greenwich, Natural Resource Institute, Rotham State University, Rotham State Research, is one of the partners also. In fact, the immediate past director of Rotham State Research, Akim Doberman, is on the board of scientific board of this center. And that tells you the kind of partnership we have. Rotham State Research is the oldest agricultural research institute in the world.
Another group of stakeholders the African Center of Excellence in Dryland Agriculture in Kano State is working with for research and dissemination of new technologies is the farmer. Their collaboration with farmers has helped the farmers to access improved varieties of different crops that thrive on dry land.
We establish demonstration plots for farmers to see. We work with farmer groups, representatives, and then women farmers group too. We involve them, so they saw the efficacy, the vigorous nature of the crop. This orange flesh. Some places we give Mother's Delight. In fact, we promoted the two. Mother's Delight and Solo Gold plus the Farmer's Choice for them to see the difference. So we established the farms successfully. The trials were done and we conducted field days in each of the locations. We conducted at Rimangado, we conducted at Tofa, we conducted at Garko, and then Jahun, and lastly Guaramba. So we showcase everything to the farmers, and even now farmers are so much willing to get the buys.
The African Center of Excellence in Dryland Agriculture, Kano, also collaborates with state governments in training of farmers on dryland agriculture and other type of farming seasons on good agronomic practices, among other things.
In 2018 or so, Kano State government employed about 700 extension workers, and we offered them training. We trained them on various aspects of extension delivery, free of charge. The center offered them as part of our bid to promote the extension delivery in the state.
For the director of the Center of Excellence in Dryland Agriculture, greater results in research that can completely transform the dryland agriculture and the entire agricultural value chain can be achieved when the state government and the private sector gets more involved in supporting research.
We should be in a stage where most of our research will be funded internally. So, and it should not only be government, also the private sector. The private sector must be tasked to support research. In my opinion, there should be a kind of even taxation at the level of government, just like you have the TED fund tax that should be set aside for research, especially agricultural research, to address priorities of this country. But we should not allow our researchers, our research institutions, to rely on foreign donors who bring out calls based on their specific needs, not our national interests.
Agriculture is truly wide, with institutions and governments doing their bit to increase our stake as a nation. Government is working to tackle security challenges in the country. Institutions like the Center for Dryland Agriculture are carrying out research to counteract the effects of climate change on agriculture. For associations like the Nigerian Cassava Growers Association, their appeal is to the federal and state governments to intensify efforts in agricultural land development and security for farmers and their investments in the cassava subsector. Let us hear from the farmers in our next segment, Farmers Speak.
So access to land should be number one priority of the government. Two, security. Because if we are not sure, some other persons may want to come into the sector, but fear of the current security challenges in the country, may scare so many people away from investing in agriculture. Especially now that we are talking of seed multiplication. We are not looking at the roots now. We are talking of the seed. And now somebody invests huge amount of money just to grow seed. By the time it starts flowering, the herdsmen will come and eat up the whole thing. You see that investment is lost. So government should, as a matter of priority, look at what is it called? Security as a priority.
Spinach is a herbaceous plant whose leaves are green. The leaves have an oval shape and are wrinkled. Spinach is an edible flowering plant whose leaves are used for nourishment since the ancient times. It can grow up to 30 centimeters in height, and its leaves can have a width of up to 15 centimeters and length of 30 centimeters. Its seed comes from very small fruits, which in turn come from equally small flowers. Spinach originated from ancient Persia, or today's Iran, and surrounding countries. It is arranged in rosette and eaten raw or cooked. It is very nutritious, tasteful, and easy to digest plant. The Arabs regarded it as the queen of vegetables. Spinach is a great source of vitamin A, vitamin C, vitamin K, vitamin B6, vitamin E, calcium, potassium, dietary fiber, magnesium, and manganese. The possible health benefits of consuming spinach include improving blood glucose control in people with diabetes, lowering the risk of cancer, and improving bone health, as well as supplying minerals and vitamins. China is leading in spinach production with about 24 million tons production per year, which represent approximately 85% of the global supply. United States of America comes second with over 384,000 tons yearly production. The country with the largest volume of spinach production in Africa is Kenya, with 200,000 tons yearly. The global spinach market overcame the negative effects of COVID-19 pandemic to grow from $37.7 billion in 2019 to $39.6 billion in 2020. The US remains the largest importer of spinach in the world, with shipments totaling $77.1 million in 2020. Index BUK forecasts that the world will consume 42 million tons of spinach by 2030. Recent scientific research also shows that carbon nanosheets used in metal air batteries can be derived from spinach. Metal air batteries are more energy efficient than lithium-ion ones. The promising use of the plant as a renewable energy source could additionally drive an expansion of the market when the technology is commercialized. Spinach can grow all year round in Nigeria through a combination of rain-fed and irrigation farming system. Although it is cultivated in Nigeria, more can be done to fully tap from the market potentials and health benefits of the plant.
With collaborations with the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Rural Development, Ministry of Water Resources, Africa Center of Excellence in Dryland Agriculture, and River Basin Development Authorities, farmers and other critical stakeholders, Nigeria's drylands can become more productive for crop farming, thereby enhancing food security and the economy of the nation. On that note, we come to the end of this episode of the program. See you again same time, same station, next week for another episode of Transforming Agriculture in Nigeria. Do stay safe and bye for now.